Bumgarner isn't moved. With age and injuries, Bumgarner's talent isn't what it was years ago, and now he's just a 2-month rental, so he won't fetch much back at this point. But the Giants need to get something in return for him. Anything before he sails into free agency this offseason. Additionally, if the Giants don't trade at least 2 or 3 relief pitchers, something's gone very wrong. The team's talented bullpen is rated number 6 in MLB ERA with a 3.90 and 4th overall in WHIP 1.23. This is precisely where Zaidi could snag some serious future talent for San Francisco's farm system. Any additional trades will be more than welcome. There isn't a player on the 40-man roster that shouldn't be expendable on a team that's been going nowhere for years. And the return, get maybe a couple of Major League veteran players to help finish out the season with some amount of dignity, and more importantly, a fistful of minor league mid-range prospects, some of whom could blossom over the next 3 or 4 years. Here's hoping that San Francisco's Ops President Farhan Zaidi has the resolve and the authority to begin seriously reshaping the San Francisco Giants. The time is now, and it can't happen fast enough. Yeah, the San Francisco Giants, they're in a organizational mess. They are, and they've been that way ever since their last playoff run in 2016 with the failures in 17 and 18. And they've been one of the worst teams in baseball since that little playoff run they had in 2016 where everybody thought the even year magic would strike again. And it did not, and since then the Giants have been sort of dwelling in the past, and really the whole San Francisco baseball media has been doing the same thing as well. And yes, the San Francisco Giants are a storied franchise with a excellent pedigree, but the difference between, the Giants and teams like the Cubs, the Yankees, the Cardinals. Giants fans seem to, and the Giants media as a whole, they are definitely an old school fan base. And they care more about the personalities and the inner workings of the players and the people around them. But you go to a Cubs fan, or you go to a Cardinals fan, or a Yankees fan, and you see the position that your team is in. Let's say you have the Cubs at 41 and 48, 17 and a half games out of first, 9 teams ahead of them in the wild card race, getting blown out, second worst run differential in the NL, scoring no runs, only 3 teams lower than you. The players on that team, they're good as gone. They're done. And that's the attitude that the fans have, and that's why organizations like the Cardinals and the Yankees have been so wildly successful. Is because those teams and those organizations know when to move on. Brian Cashman of the New York Yankees had a very difficult thing to do with rebuilding the Yankees, because yes, they have the pedigree, and yes, they are the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees, who can go out there and spend millions of dollars and buy their team, but he did it the right way. There were a couple of bad years in there, and, Yankees fans weren't happy with it, but we see the team that they have today. The Cardinals, competitive year in and year out. Last year, when they were 500 at the All-Star break, they fired the long-term manager Mike Matheny because he wasn't getting the job done. Now, the Cardinals aren't in a great position right now, but they are still a competitive baseball team. The Giants are not, and the Giants are dwelling in the past with stars of the past such as Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt, Madison Bumgarner. It's over. Buster Posey. These guys need to be moved if the Giants can move forward into the future as a competitive baseball club and a relevant baseball club. Otherwise, all these guys are just going to continue to get old and continue their declines, and Bumgarner's going to walk off with nothing. They have one of the best bullpens in Major League Baseball, and if they don't trade those pieces, such as Will Smith, Tony Watson, Mark Melancon, if they don't trade these pieces, they're making a grave mistake, because they can acquire mid-level solid prospects that can blossom over the next 3 to 4 years and create that next new generation of Giants baseball. Because if they don't, and they continue to stay stuck in the past, and Farhan Zaidi panders to the San Francisco locale, then they won't have a winning team for a long time. The time is now for the Giants to act, and if they don't act now, they're going to continue to be a mediocre franchise, and it's only going to get worse from here if they do not make splashes in selling big time at the deadline this year. There is no doubt that Chicago is one of America's best sports towns. One of the most fun ways to experience the vibrant culture of the Windy City is to attend a Chicago Cubs baseball game. This iconic team is a staple of the landscape of Chicago. That is, if you're not a White Sox fan. Here is all that you need to know before you plan your trek to Wrigley Field. Everything you need to know. Built in 1914, no trip to Chicago is complete without visiting the famous Wrigley Field. Because parking is sparse and costly, it is recommended to take public transportation to Wrigley Field. The venue is served by Metro trains, Pace shuttle buses, and the vast network of Chicago Transit Authority, CTA buses, and trains. Single game tickets are limited, so it is advised to buy your tickets in advance of the game for best seat selection. Prices vary depending on the opponent, day of the week, and seats. Visitors can snag tickets for as little as $20 or choose to pay hundreds of dollars for premium club seats. Be sure to check the online schedule for various special events and promotions held throughout the season. In addition to checking out a game, you can also purchase tickets for a behind-the-scenes tour of this legendary ballpark. If tickets are sold out for the game you want to see, you can always try an aftermarket vendor like a SeatGeek or StubHub. Where to stay? There are a number of places to stay within close proximity to Wrigley Field. If you are looking for hotels near downtown Chicago with free parking, be sure to consider the Hyatt Regency Chicago. Located near the famed Riverwalk, this premium hotel is a perfect jumping off point for the city's most popular attractions. The modern guest rooms offer a myriad of stunning skyline, Lake Michigan, and Chicago River views. Or choose the Wheelhouse Hotel, located within walking distance of Wrigley Field. The chic boutique hotel offers a rooftop bar, pizza restaurant, and trendy decor. If shopping is your passion, be sure to consider the Sofitel Chicago Magnificent Mile, located steps from the area's most vibrant shopping scene. This elegant hotel boasts a fine French restaurant, bold cocktail bar, and expertly appointed guest rooms. What to eat? The Chicago restaurant scene must not be missed. Your first stop should be one of the Chicago's patented pizza restaurants. Regardless of if you choose Lou Malnati's Pizzeria, Giordano's, or Pizzeria Uno, you will be in for a treat when you sink your teeth into the famous deep dish pies. Be sure not to miss a classic Italian beef sandwich from Portillo's. And as hard as it is, you should save room for dessert. Washing down the messy sandwich goodness with a chocolate cake shake is the perfect sweet ending. Because Chicago is a melting pot of cultures that thrives on its vast immigrant history, it is no wonder that the city boasts a bevy of ethnic cuisines. A rich Italian culture delivers some of the best authentic restaurants in the country. Opened in 1927, the Italian Village is an amazing place to sample some of the city's best Italian specialties. Located in downtown Chicago, this venue features 3 distinct restaurants, each featuring its own unique menu, special offerings, and ambience. You cannot go wrong with any of the choices at the Italian Village. Cheers. And I hope you like this little segment, and we're going to try to do some of these more in the future where we sort of plan your visit to a certain ballpark, a ballpark that you may not have visited or one that you may be in the region of. And we can't go wrong starting this series off with Wrigley Field. You really can't. In general, we'll do everything you need to know, how to get the tickets, where to stay, what to eat, and give you a breakdown of the city. And obviously, this goes for the same thing. You can obviously do all these same things at Guaranteed Rate Field with the White Sox. But no offense to the White Sox fans out there, but the Cubs Stadium is a little bit more historic than Guaranteed Rate Field seems to be changing its name every other year at this point. But again, Wrigley Field is the ultimate sort of storied stadium, and yes, it hasn't had its fair share of winners there over the years, but having only one World Series that coming a couple years ago. But at the end of the day, it's historic. The bleachers out there would be definitely a cool place to sit. Maybe if it's sold out, you can go to the bleachers across the street on the apartment buildings. They've got rooftop bleachers over there. But yeah, you can get tickets for as cheap as like $20 for weeknight games against, not if they're named the Cardinals, Reds, Pirates, or Brewers, but you're getting a Tuesday night game against like the Marlins, right? You could get $20 tickets pretty easily, and it's definitely worth it if you're out in Chicago. If you're planning a visit to Chicago on vacation this summer, definitely a visit to Chicago is not complete without a visit to Wrigley Field. And if you have time, check out Guaranteed Rate Field 2 on the other side of the city. There definitely is a lot of traffic too, so just as a note, if you're going to be there, make sure to, I would definitely highly suggest utilizing the public transportation that Chicago offers. They have the trains, they have the buses, and obviously the CTA offers these in great ways because, again, parking is sparse, and if you find parking, it's going to cost you a pretty penny, probably more than the tickets that you spent on. And if you want some premium seats, club seats are always open as well. They'll cost you a bit, but definitely worth the experience if you can afford those premium club seats at Wrigley Field. Again, we're going to be doing this segment not every day because I do want to draw it out, but I definitely would say I'm a PNC Park expert in Pittsburgh and a City of Pittsburgh expert as well. So we'll probably be doing that tomorrow or whenever we have this ballpark segment again. And yeah, so PNC Park is going to be a super cool segment for me again. I go to a ton of Pirates games. If you don't know, I myself am a huge Pirates fan. I host the Pirates podcast and the Baseball Podcast Network with Bucko Booth. Run Bucks Dugout, the Instagram account, so give that a follow at Bucks Dugout on Instagram. But yeah, even though I hate the Cubs and in my biased opinion, I try to be as unbiased here as possible. Wrigley Field's a dump, but don't listen to that. It's actually quite beautiful if you're not a Pirates fan, and it'll be an interesting series actually this weekend between the Pirates and the Cubs, and maybe worth a little discussion here with the situation that happened last week with Joe Madden wanting to charge into the dugout for some reason, a tackle hurdle for Jordan Lyles pitching a high and on Javier Baez. So yeah, it could be a testy weekend for sure in Chicago, and that always makes it more fun. And if you're in Chicago this weekend, you'll probably get to catch a good series. And the weekend games generally are more expensive as well. Just as a note, but again, if any of these tickets are sold out, if there are any supposedly sold out, because really nothing is ever sold out on StubHub, SeatGeek, Vivid Seats, you name the ticket online ticket vendor that is not the team, you're going to find some cheap tickets, hopefully on there. And SeatGeek is my personal favorite. I wish I was sponsored by them, but they do a fantastic job of sort of breaking down either the score deal, giving you location of your seats, and saying, okay, this is where you're going to sit. You can see everything from here, and they often have some good deals. And you can pretty easily find coupon codes if you just punch into Google SeatGeek coupon codes. So definitely would suggest using SeatGeek or StubHub to find yourself some cheap tickets at Wrigley Field. And again, a visit to Chicago is not complete without a visit to Wrigley Field. And also the pizza there, it is fantastic. You must go there. The sandwiches there are great, and really the whole Italian culture there is fantastic. And with the bevy of immigrants and the sort of melting pot that is Chicago, and bringing all the different cuisines from all different parts of the world, really makes Chicago a first-class city, similar to cities such as New York, where you have all these people from all over the world bringing their food with them, and it's authentic. And the Italian there, you cannot miss it. 1927, the Italian Village opened, and it is some of the best, authentic Italian restaurants in the entire country. I mean, in the entire world outside of Italy, to be honest as well. You cannot go wrong with any of the choices at the Italian Village. And again, we'll be looking to do these segments in the future as we move forward together here on BPN today. And PNC Park should be next. It's once again time for the midseason top 50 prospects. This one is back on me as we're going to be doing the Atlanta Braves Making a top 50 without Mike Soroka, Tukey Toussaint, or Austin Riley is weird. All three, along with Jacob Webb, have graduated as prospects and are no